This is a bit of a random thing, but I saw this on Instagram this morning, and I thought it was really interesting. I was recommended this based on an interior design account that I follow, and so this is, or not an interior design. I follow graphic design, like branding firms. I follow a couple of them. This is by one of those firms, or one of those people I follow, which I can look this up because I thought this was very interesting. Okay, I can't look this up. It's fine. Well, I'll just be satisfied with telling you the name of it, which is Scope Creep. So this is a game they made. It's I believe, a card-based game. So it's very simple, but you are a project manager and you get a cursed brief. And I was like, this is a very interesting, because it looks like it's supposed to be a horror game. So, um, yeah. So this is Scope Creep, and let's get into it. The project begins. Welcome, project manager. Your experience and steady hand has landed you the unenviable task of running the agency's latest project for a demanding client on a tight budget. Some say it's cursed, but you know your stuff. It's just a simple website job. What could possibly go wrong? You turn your attention to the work. It seems something already demands your attention. I'm gonna hit get started. All right, so we have this is the project kickoff. I feel normal. I'm going to turn off the sounds. There was like a bunch of beeping in. What's the info? Wait, what is this? Welcome to the Scope Creep, an interactive narrative experience for the creative industry. Assume the role of a humble project manager tasked with delivering a website brief for one of the agency's clients. Unbeknownst to you, the project is cursed by a dark force determined to indefinitely extend the job and send you into a delirious state of madness. Navigate the project phases and the inevitable issues as you try to deliver the work. Consider the job, the client, the team, yourself, and make your choices despite your descent into the agile abyss. Very beautiful. So, project kickoff, the technology tantrum. The kickoff meeting literally started with a bang. Now the room smells of burning, and you're hunched over the table fiddling with HDMI cables while a dozen unimpressed client eyes stare at you. You feel your credibility slipping away while your team make awkward small talk, aware that you need to act fast to save the situation. What do you do? So we're reading the cards here. Choose an option. Blame the cables, wing it without slides, call for backup. Ooh, I don't know. I would blame the cables. Are you sure you saw this coming? Ready to prove it? Yes. The technical deniability, the outcome. You point accusingly at the HDMI tangle like it personally wronged you. The client joins in with mild tech rage, united against a common enemy. For a brief, golden moment, you are on the same side. Another phase begins. Sprint 1, you feel normal. Oh dear. Okay, I feel normal. Sprint 1. Okay, this is like the marketing sprint or whatever. The moving target. In a sudden burst of enthusiasm, the client's CEO announces that the project must launch a month earlier to coincide with a major industry event. This new deadline is nearly impossible to meet without cutting corners or massively overworking the team. The pressure is on, and the team must figure out how to respond without compromising the project's quality or burning out. So, what do I do? Option one is agree to the new deadline and set clear boundaries to protect quality. Option two is push back diplomatically and propose a phased launch. Object, Option three, reassess the project timeline and negotiate a realistic revised plan. I feel like the phased launch was my first instinct. Everything lines up. Why hesitate now? Okay, I don't know what that means. split the difference. The phased launch idea lands surprisingly well. You deliver the essentials first and keep extras for later, buying everyone a little breathing room. The client's call the client calls it strategic, but you feel like it's barely survival. Everyone wins mostly. And continue. Sprint 2. You feel normal. You feel stressed? I feel stressed. Oh no. I'm sorry. Why do I feel stressed? The shifting direction. The client's message drops like a guillotine. We've had a rethink. They want a complete redesign, new colors, new typography, and new tone. Everything that once felt stable dissolves instantly. You scroll through months of work, now obsolete, and try to sound calm on the next call. The client calls it a fresh start. The team just stares at their screens, hollow eyed. Someone quietly asks if halfway done still means anything. You don't answer. Oh my gosh, what do you do? Gently suggest pausing development until the new direction is approved. Ask the client to clarify what they dislike before restarting. Agree immediately and start mapping a new direction. I think we're going to ask the client to clarify. Remember what it felt like to not be stressed? Yes, no, maybe. Postmortem. You try bringing order to chaos with questions. Big mistake. The client spirals into a broader existential reflections about brand identity, audience perception, and vibes. 2 hours later, you realize you've taken 12 pages of notes that mean nothing. The project refuses to end. Sprint 3. You feel stressed. Okay. I'm still stressed. I don't know how to stop that. The paragraph panic. The final copy has arrived, dense and joyless. Corporate sludge oozes down the page, suffocating the tone your team worked so hard to craft. You squint, trying to make sense of it, but the words don't have meaning. They just lie there, inert and smug. Your designer reads a few lines, then immediately swears under their breath. The client thinks this is finished. You feel the pressure start to coil around your spine as you realize any attempt to fix this will be slow, painful, and possibly pointless. Shove the copy at your designer and tell them to make it work somehow. Stay late into the night rewriting passages yourself, even though that's not your job. Fire off a panicked email begging the client to cut the text immediately. This is actually incredibly hard. My instinct would be to stay late and rewrite the passages myself. Yeah. Are you sure you've still got control of this? Oop. Yep. I picked that one. How hard can it be? What you thought would be easy turns into a Herculean task as you begin to truly comprehend how little of the client's technical jargon you actually understand. You spend more time Googling abstract phrases than actually writing. The client eventually confirms what you suspected. Your improved version is a jumbled, confusing mess. The project limps forward. Ay, Dios mío. I feel erratic. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear. I don't know. The silent client. Your main point of contact for the client is gone in 48 hours. And everything suddenly feels urgent. You scramble to extract every shred of knowledge from them, login details, workflows, unspoken political hierarchies. They promise to document everything, but the notes arrive as cryptic bullet points and half-remembered acronyms. The team's already asking who to send files to next, and the client side just doesn't answer. You draft a handover email so long it starts to read like a confession. You're sweating through meetings, nodding furiously, and pretending everything is fine. Assign imaginary roles to the departing context ghost to guide decisions. Assume control immediately. Start preparing the team for a clientless project. I think I'll start preparing the team for a clientless project. The designer just smiled. Do they know something? Ooh, do they know something? Long live the client. You declare the project a self-governing ecosystem. The team stares at you, unsure if you're joking. Soon you're approving your own work, debating feedback with yourself, and writing emails that begin, per our internal discussion with me, Progress continues at a phenomenal rate, like a runaway train. The project inches forward. Sprint 5, I feel erratic. Okay, I feel erratic, but I didn't go up one. Alrighty, the cult of perfection. The developer has started calling the feature their baby. Ooh. Every mention of simplifying it earns you a hurt look in a 15-minute speech about craftsmanship and vision. The task board is now a labyrinth of nested subtasks, all color coded for reasons no one understands. You catch yourself writing "kill it" in the notes of your notes during your meeting. The others have stopped making eye contact when it comes up. You feel it can you can feel it growing. The task, the idea, the obsession. You start joking that it's alive. No one laughs. Stage an impromptu code review to shut it down. Pretend to support their vision while secretly deleting progress. Oof. Let them run it. Just see what happens. I'm going to let them run it. Is that crunching sound in your jaw? Is that crunching sound in your jaw? We'll see what happens. The growth. Oh, God. You give up resistance and let the feature grow unchecked. It doubles in size within days. Then again, dependencies sprawl like roots through the project. Meetings turn devotional. The developer begins referring to themselves in the third person, and everyone else stops joking. The feature works perfectly, but no one dares to deploy it. The project inches forward. I feel erratic. Sprint 6. Oh, I feel delirious. Oh, no. I don't know what's going to happen. The chromatic meltdown. An email notification delivers you from your confused stupor. The client's garbled email mentions something about making it pop. The words don't seem to be in the right order. But clicking the link at the end takes you to a children's color palette generator. Your eyes refuse to focus on the colors, blurring them all into a single soupy hue. You struggle to keep your focus as you try to establish what it means. What do I do? Demand an explanation, experience the colors, and manage expectations. I'm going to demand an explanation. Should the room be spinning? No. Whose fist is that? Oh, no. Before you can wrestle your mouse controller to the reply button, your right hand flies up from your peripheral vision, slowly balling into a painful strained fist. You watch in slow motion fascination as the monitor explodes around your hand, spilling the colors into delirious maelstrom around you. Twisted marks of shock crowd your peripheral vision. Wide eyes with too much white and gaping mouths revealing tombstone teeth. Your unraveling mind can only wonder at what is in front of you. The new palette is actually quite harmonious. The project rumbles forward unstoppable, so I can make it stop or I can continue, which I will do. Sprint 7, you feel delirious. I do feel delirious. The bleeding page. The digital design freelancer you've been using has sent print-ready InDesign files. They multiply each time you open them. New spreads, new grids, new pages that weren't there before. You swear one just printing itself. The freelancer's emails have become increasingly poetic, referring to the permanence of paper and the tragic fluidity of screens. You sit motionless, staring at a layout that now includes printer's marks on your digital mock-up. You try to delete them, but they bleed back through. The website is now a 42-page booklet. You whisper to yourself, "It's fine. We'll just host the PDFs." A printer hums in the distance. What do I do? Confront the freelancer, destroy the files, accept the new reality. I'm going to accept the new reality. They're watching. Smile wider. Binding ceremony. You give in and announce that the project is pivoting to print. You start exporting web files as PDFs and call it a bold cross-media strategy. The client loves it. Finally, something they can hold. You spend the afternoon printing buttons and stapling navigation together. The paper cuts are deep, but they feel honest. The developers look on in suspicion. Just as ink hits paper and the first express mock-ups are ready to ship, the client's boss storms in, red-faced and screaming about wasted budget and lost time. Orders come down. Revert immediately to digital. Printers idle. Pages are recycled, the team sighs in unison, and you sit staring at a stack of glossy failure, having spent thousands and burned hours only to return to the original plan. The cycle devours itself, then restarts. Sprint 8. You feel delirious. I don't know how to get not delirious. Can I go down? I wonder if is like intentionally like slowing down to make me feel more frustrated, because that would be really silly. The endless feedback. The clients have all joined the thread. The feedback is endless. It's a living organism now, pulsing with contradictory requests. Your monitor glows with 178 unread comments, each one phrased like a personal attack. You start drawing lines between them on your wall, red string, screenshots, printed Slack messages, a constellation of madness. Somewhere near the center is the word alignment, written 12 times in a different handwriting. You no longer remember who the client is. You no longer really remember who you are. Defend the design. Let the true vision of the design speak through you and recreate each version of the design. I'm going to let the true vision speak through me. Why is everything red? I don't know. Surprise seance. You realize you need guidance from the other side. You gather the clients, dim the lights, scatter papers in a circle, and chant incoherently. The stakeholders lean forward, some amused, others disturbed, as you speak in voices not your own. Your hands scrawl on the mock-ups and symbols no one understands. When you finally slump back, drenched in sweat, the room is silent. The stakeholders stare at the corrupted pages, whispering among themselves, while your team avoids your eyes. It was somewhat unconventional. It was a somewhat unconventional meeting, and unsurprisingly, everyone involved feels borderline violated. Oof. It feeds and grows again. Oh no. Sprint 9, I feel delirious. I'm like, do I have to end it myself, or are they going to force me to end it at some point? Because that's what I'm looking for. The whispering code. The code whispers now. You open one file, then another, then another. They're all the same. Endless lines of hard-coded data looping forever, chanting, it works, it works, it works, it works, it works. You tear through directories like a zealot, deleting and muttering about purity. The developer watches you with wide eyes as you scroll. Real data is truth on the whiteboard in permanent marker. You no longer know where the hard-coded lines and your own sanity begins. When the site launches, it loads instantly, perfectly. Okay, let the code teach the team lessons. Speak to the code. Conduct stress experiments. Oh my God. Let the code teach the team lessons. Speak to the code. Oof. I'm going to do speak to the code. When did you get that pentagram tattoo? Code whisperer. You crawl across the office floor, fingers tracing the lines of hard-coded values like veins. Each function hisses under your gaze. Arrays coil and flicker like serpents, and variables shift unpredictably. The office air feels dense, charged with static and the quiet hum of digital life. While your team flinches at every twitching screen, the website begins to behave strangely, as if aware of your scrutiny. Buttons twitch involuntarily, pages stutter in hesitation, and websites groan under invisible pressure. Your team moves cautiously, every keystroke accompanied by a quiet dread of what might awaken next. The sprint phase arrives uninvited. Oof. Sprint 10, you feel delirious. I don't know if I can feel anything more. The ghost in the code. Halfway through the project, your phone lights up with a dozen screaming notifications. One of your team has been arrested for fraud. Fraud? You blurt the news aloud and instantly regret it. A low-grade panic takes root. The office is still, but your thoughts are loud and jumbled. Their desk looks haunted. Someone has already taped a post-it note on their monitor that just says "RIP." You keep spinning in your chair, trying to figure out what to do, who to call, what to say. The project plan now reads like a ransom note. Replace them with an intern, get them back, carry on as you were. I'm going to say carry on as I was. Are you sure this is rational? No. Phantom updates. You decide nothing happened and begin addressing the absent team member directly in stand ups, nodding as though they answer. Meetings dissolve into absurd theater. You pause, listen, and nod at the empty chair. The team plays along, silent and pale, until one by one they stop attending. The office is quieter now as more people retreat into their headphones or find excuses to work from home. Quiet, except for the whispers only you can hear. The absent team members' daily updates as they explain phantom blockers and unfinished tickets. There is no end. Oof. Sprint 11. You feel delirious. I do feel delirious. I don't know when this is ending. The search for meaning. The client wants search like Google. You can hear it now whispering in the code. The mock-up has started to breathe. Little magnifying glass icons watching you from every corner of the screen. You stay late, muttering queries to yourself, testing them out. Find meaning. Nothing returns. You begin writing your own documentation, carving it into the desk with your keys. At 3:47 a.m., you finally announce to the empty office that you have a solution. The lights flicker. Ask the client to help, read deeply into the request, and explore the functionality physically. I'm going to ask, oh God, I'm going to ask the client to help. What time is it? Search the code. You shove the unexpected client into the humming dark, pointing to the racks of cables and blinking lights. Search, you hiss, your grin stretching too wide. The client stumbles through the wires, eyes wide, as if expecting answers to spill from the machines. By the time security intervenes, the client is trembling, covered in dust and confusion. Your team doesn't look at you, doesn't speak. The silence louder than any reprimand. Who will search for it now? The project rolls on, dragging you with it. Oh my God. Sprint to 12. You feel delirious. Oop. The haunting smiles. The stock photos have taken over. They're everywhere. Smiling strangers in every frame, perfect teeth glinting under artificial lights. You can't remember what the original design looked like anymore. The client is ecstatic, insisting the new imagery makes the site relatable. You start to see them when you close your eyes. The people in the pictures staring, unblinking. You open the file library, and just rows and rows of faces. You hover over one and swear it smiles wider. What do I do? Oh my goodness. Ask the stock models, confront the images, replace the images. Let's replace the images. Let's try to be sane. Are you under your desk again? No, I'm not. I don't want to be there. Reversion. You drag in new files, custom shots, the good stuff. For a second, it works. The layout breathes again. Then one by one, the images revert. The sparklers, the salads, the dead-eyed joy. You check the metadata and see your own name listed as the original creator. You don't remember uploading anything. It rolls on, teeth and all. Oof. Sprint 13. I feel delirious. I know. I don't know what's happening. The party of the damned. The team are struggling. You can tell. You've been watching them for weeks around corners and from behind office plants, secretly taking stock of their slipping morale. The designer hasn't taken their headphones off in weeks. Even the social media manager has stopped responding to everything with their usual OMG. As the last sane person left, you know you need to do something. I'm not sane. Laugh it off. Firework display. Solutionize? I don't know what solutionize is. So I'm going to pick that. Look busy. Okay. Delirium of solutions. You spend hours troubleshooting innovative ways to improve the team's morale, interrogating each idea from every angle and ranking them based on cost, effort, and impact. Your mind buzzes with activity as you frantically, selflessly prioritize the team's well-being. Slowly, as your brain calms and your vision clears, it becomes apparent that you've been curled up under the desk, hugging your knees, rocking back and forth. You've been under there all day, gently sobbing and muttering, and the team has been actively avoiding the desk entirely. Even in your delirious state, you know this can't have helped morale. The project will not die. Oh my God, how? You feel delirious. I do. infinite approval cycle. The feedback will come. You know it will. You can hear it approaching in the wires. The inbox glows faintly, a digital horizon that never breaks. You've built altars out of post it notes and half eaten snacks, offerings to the god of client replies. The team speaks in whispers now, afraid to disturb the balance. The ticking clock sounds different, more deliberate, almost taunting. You check your inbox again, empty. Your cursor blinks tauntingly. Oh my goodness. Force the client to reply. Listen for feedback. Summon the client's feedback. Oh my goodness. I I don't think any of these are good. I'm gonna summon the client's feedback. What time is it? Confirm. Oh my goodness. The other side. Candles flicker, papers tremble, and you chant incoherently over A3 print outs of the latest mock ups. The team watches frozen as you interpret whispers in the air as tangible pieces of design feedback, claiming to have a guide across the void. The team watches with a mixture of horror, confusion, and resigned boredom. By the end of the ceremony, the office smells of melted wax and printer toner. The feedback is still absent, but you demand the team act on the instructions you heard from the other side. They do not speak, do not move, apparently more unimpressed by your theatrics than scared. The project continues, eternal and unkind. Continue. Sprint 15, I feel delirious. Do I have to end this myself? Is that what's happening? The Forest Awakening. The annual agency wellness retreat has fallen at the worst time, and now you find yourself deep in the woods with a pressing deadline, devices confiscated, time has no meaning. You picture the project slipping through your fingers like sand. You whisper feature lists under your breath like mantras. Someone asks if you're okay. You tell them you're optimizing your inner workflow. At night, by the campfire, you sketch wide frames in the dirt with a stick. When you close your eyes, you see the deadline glowing in the darkness, and it's getting closer. Oh no. Document the project plan, improvise, find Wi-Fi. Oh, I think document the project plan. Why is everything red? That's a great question. Woodland documentation. Deprived of your laptop, you turn to the forest. You etch timeline dependencies and deadlines into the bark until the trees hum faintly under your touch. When the facilitators find you, you insist you've synced with nature. Back at the studio, no one believes your story until the next morning when the tree emails the client surprisingly astute update. The cycle devours itself, then restarts. What? I feel delirious. Uh-huh. The crumbling relations. Your boss suggests you organize some social drinks with the senior project team and the clients to help smooth over some of the project's previous issues. You cannot wait. A chance to really get under the skin of the clients, wear their skin almost, make them sure you're just like them, get the project over the line. The rest of your team are nervous, but what do they know? It'll be great. You know it will. Charm the clients, host the drinks at your house. Try and enjoy the evening. I'm going to try and enjoy the evening. When did you get that pentagram tattoo? Okay, we're recycling some of these. The lone toast. You surrendered to chaos. That's not what I picked. Deciding maybe you just need to relax. You dressed too well, too eager. You arrived early, heart pounding, and by everyone around. Laughed too loudly. For the first time all month, you feel human again. You tell a long story that makes no one laugh but you, yet somehow the silence feels freeing. Later, the fairy lights dim. The music fades. You realize there are no clients, no colleagues, no pub. There never were. It's just you alone clutching a half-drunk bottle of WKD Blue in a deserted car park. It feeds and grows again. That's horrible. Ugh. I hope that everything went well. Sprint 17, the unraveling. The client insists on attending every user test, desperate to see their ideas validated. By the final session, the room feels less like research and more like theater. The client narrates each interaction from the middle seat, voice full of prophecy. The user nod politely, saying whatever earns a smile. The moderator stares at the wall. You keep writing invalid in your notes. Unsure if it describes the data or yourself. Oh my goodness. Sorry, my cats also just started fighting. The unraveling. Turn the tables, make it end, seek justice. I'm gonna say make it end. They're watching, smile wider. The devouring. The client interrupts yet another user mid sentence and something inside you snaps. You reach for their notebook, tear out a page, aggressively push it into your mouth and chew. Slowly, never breaking eye contact. The client freezes. You maintain eye contact as you swallow. The moderator blinks twice, unsure whether to call HR or an exorcist. You whisper. Now it's internal feedback. The client never mentions it again. In fact, they treat you with quiet respect as if you've completed a dark ritual. Days later, you find more paper in your bag. You pause, wondering if you should finish what you started. What? Oh no. Sprint 18. I do feel delirious. The plagiarism paranoia. The websites have merged. You can see it now. The random site, the client sent, and yours flickering in sync like twin reflections in a crackled mirror. The client's words loop in your mouth. It just feels the same. You start sketching wild redesigns at 3 a.m. Every new draft more unhinged than the last. The logo has flames now. The homepage plays sound. The client hasn't asked for any of this, but you know the only way to stop the resemblance is to destroy both sites completely, unless there is another way. There is another way. Delete everything and start again from scratch. Merge with the rival site completely. Attempt to outdesign the other site. I'm going to delete everything and start from scratch. That seems like the better option. Digital purge. You hover over the folder, whispering a small prayer to the gods of clean slates, and press delete. The progress bar creeps forward. The fuck? Okay. This is someone has apparently decided to do something in the hallway. I'm gonna just keep talking, but I'm sorry about that. Digital purge. You hover over the folder, whispering a small prayer to the gods, um, until the backups begin to restore themselves. Directories bloom like funguses, assets reappear, and somehow both sites now share the same favicon. The client emails to say, it just feels even more like the other one now. You stare into the monitor's glow and wonder which of you wrote that sentence. What? Which of who? Oh no. The binary collapse. So this, I believe, this is intentionally getting more and more like uh, freaking. It's getting like slower to load the text. The binary collapse. The meeting room screen is dead. It stares back as an infinite void, a perfect black rectangle humming with quiet contempt. The clock ticks louder. The team watches from a safe distance as you kneel before the HDMI port, whispering bargains to it. You've tried every combination of buttons, cables, and prayers. You begin to sense the monitor's will overpowering yours. Its glossy surface ripples, and for a moment, you swear you see your reflection mouthing, "Present me." When the client arrives for the meeting, you point at the screen and scream, "Behold," at the top of your voice. The screen is still black, but it's beautiful. Okay. Mourn the loss at the monitor. Dance the design to life. Get old school. Let's get old school. Is that your blood you can taste? I hope not. I mean, I hope it is my blood, actually, yeah. Not someone else's. Beyond the veil. You scramble to print screenshots, tape them to plastic, and hold them aloft in the beam of a flashlight. The image warps, flickers, and shakes with every breath, a carnival of distorted grids and melting typography. It's hard to discern what is what. The client leans forward, straining to interpret the chaos while your team looks away in shame. Before long, your arm trembles and the flashlight begins to flicker, adding a haunting tone to the proceedings. You have an overwhelming feeling that the presentation felt rather a lot too much like a seance. And the project claws forward. Oop. Sprint 20. We haven't felt anything but delirious for a very long time. The never ending loop. The animation the animation dis- deceives the dying breaths of the project with its energy. It dances on the screen, it taunting you. Each frame a tiny betrayal of scope insanity. Ooh, ooh. The designer insists it's just a few tweaks. Sorry for my alarm. The developer, the developer's missing. You've begun to talk to the project plan, begging it to stretch, promising sacrifices you can't make. The budget document flickers open and your screen on your screen and hisses. You whisper to it that it's only one animation, one tiny loop, one small sin. The burning ache behind your eyes intensifies. Mm. Ask the homepage what it thinks, make them believe in the power of animation, sacrifice the project timeline. Oh no. Um, make who believe in the power of animation? Let's make them believe in the power of animation. Just believe. You tap the screen, gesturing at the blank pixels, coaxing others to squint until their brows ache, insisting that the animation already exists, visible only to those who believe. Frustrated, you shout louder, describing swirls and loops that no one can see. The office fills with nervous coughs and shifting chairs, but you refuse to let it go. Eventually, the designer seems to be humoring your delusion. You take it as proof. The phantom animation becomes real in your mind, even as the rest of the site falls to pieces. Oh no. This is wild. The fall of the infected. Two key team members are struck down with the flu, and the project suddenly feels dangerous. You know something as random as illness couldn't have taken them both out. It must be the project. It's alive, sentient, and attacking those who try and wrangle it. You stare at the project plan, whispering bargains under your breath, reminding it that you're on its side, guiding it to perfection. The team are looking at your expectant. The team are looking at your expectant, and you realize you've forgotten what the project was again. Feed the beast, arrest control, survive. Oh gosh. I don't know what arrest control is. I would love to try and control something. Collective sync. You decided to try and use the combined power of the team to mentally bring the project back under control. You gather everyone in a circle, eyes closed, hands linked, chanting deliverables into the stale air. For a moment it works, the room hums, the timeline stabilizes. Then, without warning, every monitor turns on at once. The homepage loads perfectly, brighter, and somehow more complete than before. No one on the team remembers building it. There is no end. Sprint 22. The glyph grotesquier. I don't know. Your phone screen lights up the cupboard. You're definitely not hiding in it. And you read the notification with one eye shut. The email's cheery tone vibrates in your skull like static. The client wants to change the font. Hardly an innocent request at this late hour. They must be toying with you, seeing who will break first. Fool. You've suffered worse, but wait. What if they know something you don't? Assume the old font is cursed. Show the client how good the new font looks. Declare yourself king of fonts. I think show the client how good the new fonts look. That seems reasonable. That seems, I know I'm delirious, but like, I gotta try, you know? Not your best moment. Oh dear. It's hard to pinpoint the exact moment you realize this is a poor idea. It is definitely after reading the client's email, and you don't seem to have any doubt at all about your actions as you scrawl overly detailed renditions of the new font onto your arm in Sharpie. It might be the moment you notice the acrid marker smell starting to penetrate your fragile mind, or the moment you realize the terrified look on the cab driver's face as you tell them tell him the client's address. Oh my God. No. It's almost certainly the shocked horror of the client as you stand in front of them wearing only your underwear covered from head to toe in Sharpie. Your wide, toothy grin starts to slip away as they start backing away and mumble about calling the cops. Cops. The cycle devours itself, then restarts. Oh no. Sprint 23. You feel delirious. I do. I do. Phantom requirement. The mystery feature has taken hold. The client references it constantly. Now, weaving it into every sentence like it's been there since day one. Your attempts to deny its existence have been met with pity, as though you've forgotten. The team has started using the name in meetings without realizing it. Um, you stare at the whiteboard and swear it's written there in your own handwriting. You open the project files, and there it is, a new folder, timestamped yesterday, labeled comparison tool. You don't remember creating it. Okay. Ask the team who created it, delete the folder, burn it all, open the mysterious folder. I'm going to open the mysterious folder. Have you written demon on your laptop in Sharpie? Maybe. What's wrong with that? Sentience. You click open and watch as the lines of code spool out by themselves, flowing across the screen like an ancient prophecy. Functions reference variables that don't exist, yet somehow compiled perfectly. You try to stop it, but the keyboard resists you. Keys soft and warm like skin. When you finally tear your hands away, the feature is live. The client emails to say it works beautifully, though no one can explain how it's integrated. The documentation folder now contains one new file, Comparison Tool version 2, timestamped with tomorrow's date. What? Oh no. The deadline approaches. Sprint 24, you feel delirious. I do. How far can this go? I don't know. The unbreathing machine. The coffee machine lies cold, mocking your mortality. Its dark plastic casing glints in the fluorescent light like the eyes of a corpse. The team huddles nearby, pale and shaking, muttering about deadlines and deliverables in low, reverent tones. You start dismantling the machine with your bare hands, certain that the caffeine still lingers somewhere inside, trapped, waiting to be freed. Someone yells as water spills across the counter, but you're too far gone. It's fine, you hiss, clutching a handful of damp filters. Make the coffee yourself, sing at the team to keep morale up, convert the lunch table into a ceremonial tea off altar. Oh, the thing is, I would make coffee myself. But, or the thing is, I don't want to click that because it's gonna make me make it from my body. It said, "Let them fear you" on the back. Cult of tea. The ceremonial tea altar confuses and terrifies the team. It doesn't help that you demand everyone bow to the kettle before drinking the special tea you've prepared. Some comply mechanically, sipping the bitter brew without emotion, but others refuse. Luckily, you've ordained yourself the high priest with complete authority to break the spirits of the less compliant. It takes some shouting, some shaking, and a little bit of slapping. Oh no, but eventually everyone participates in your delirious sacrament. What did you even put in that tea? Whatever it was had quite an effect on the team. Their focus distorts with every sip, dropping them further into restless hallucinations. What was the original problem again? And still, somehow, the project rolls on. Oh dear. Sprint 25. I feel delirious. The hungry wolf. The client's boss's son is now part of the team. No one remembers inviting him. His minor task has grown, and now he's redesigning whole pages, rewriting content, and suggesting animations. The client calls him a creative force. You haven't slept. Every time you open Figma, new layers appear, stacked endlessly. You delete them, but they return. You message him directly. No reply. The cursor in the file moves on its own, tracing shapes that look suspiciously like a wolf in sunglasses. You close the laptop. Flaunt the rules, ditch the boy, give him free reign. Let's give him free reign. Let him take our job. You surrender. You stop resisting. You tell the team to let him express his vision. At first, there's relief as the chaos becomes routine. Then the designs start changing on their own, layouts shifting in the night. He messages at 4 a.m. I've streamlined your process. When you check the site, your own name is gone from the credits, replaced with lead designer The Wolf. The client emails to say how proud they are of his work. You nod exhausted and whisper, "Me too." The sprint phase arrives uninvited. The sprint has been this whole time. You feel delirious. I do feel delirious. Sprint 26. The browser apocalypse. The browser has chosen violence. Its cold, pixelated stare burns through your monitor as your perfect design disintegrates in real time. Why is it always this browser? No one even uses it. You mutter media queries like protective spells, but it's too late. The site writhes, distorting into grotesque versions of itself. The others stopped helping hours ago. You sit alone in the dark, testing, retesting, refreshing. The screen flickers, and your own face looks back, distorted, rendered incorrectly. Um, Exercise the rogue browser, give them hell, merge all browsers. Let's merge all browsers. Let's just do that. The Franken browser. You drag monitors, servers, and laptops together, wiring them into a grotesque, chaotic physical test environment. Screens stack, colors collide, and cursors dart unpredictably across multiple platforms. The team moves like cautious ghosts, navigating the electric tangle while you issue commands to an audience of unblinking eyes. By the final hour, the office feels alive again and feels alive and alien. Bugs dance across the monitors like fireflies. The rogue browser laughing invisibly, and the website exists somewhere between triumph and nightmare. The deadline approaches, whispering your name. I would like for the deadline to hit. I would love to complete this project or have it taken from me. The architect's departure. The architect announces their departure in a sickeningly cheerful Slack message. Forged the crucible of the project from the start, they've been your rock, your ally, your excuse. For so long, you'd forgotten they were a freelancer. It's just a month, they claim, but you know once the Bali sand gets between their toes, they'll forget about you like yesterday's mince. Unacceptable. Without them, the project will surely fall apart. You have to do something, anything. I don't know about that. Stop them leaving, intercept them at the airport, take the team to Bali. Let's do that. Yeah. Great migration. You slam your hands on the desk and declare it. We go with them. You say it with such conviction the team is just about to believe it could happen, and the Slack celebration emojis cascade like confetti. Within hours, you've drafted itineraries, compared flight prices, and recreation, rec, re, re, requisitioned the petty cash. HR intervenes mid booking. You try to explain that the fate of the project depends on spiritual alignment under the same sky. They send you home early. That night, you dream of the team standing knee deep in the sea, laptops held aloft like offerings. The deadline breathes down your neck. Sprint 28. You feel delirious. I do. How far does this go? The hollow void. No logos, no images. You've had nothing from the client, just the mocking silence of an email thread gone cold. You started printing out placeholders and arranging them like crime scene evidence. You build a tiny shrine of lorem ipsum and clip art in the middle of the meeting room table, hoping it will summon something. The team avoids eye contact. Yeah, I don't know why my team's still here. Absorb the essence of the files, make yourself deliverable, find the assets yourself. Oh dear, all of these are horrible. Absorb the essence of the files. Let's do that one. Let's lean into this chaos. Can you hear laughing? I hope not. Feeling fine. You grab prints and sketches, shoving them into your mouth, teeth tearing lines of ink and color. The team recoils, participates in a scene that has leapt fully into absurdity. You thrash, howling at the void, imagining the missing assets taunting you, their absence a living, writhing thing. By the time you collapse, mouth half full of soggy printer paper, the office feels warped and alien. Shadows whisper from the corners and edges of reality buckle, as launch day draws near. The sprint phase arrives uninvited. We've been in sprint phase. Sprint 29. You feel delirious. I do. The cursed message. A team member accidentally forwards an internal email thread to the client, airing some unfiltered opinions about the project's progress and the client's decision making. The team whispers about who actually sent it, though you all know. You open your inbox at 1 a.m., convinced there's a new message waiting. There isn't. Just the same one, sitting there, all powerful. You hover over delete, but you can't. It's part of you now. You need to act before it's too late, but every action seems like a bad option. Retrieve the email. Go for a walk. Rewrite reality. Let's go for a walk. 9 coffees, no lunch. Let's go. Yeah. 500 miles. You step outside to clear your head just for a minute, but the road stretches out in front of you and your feet seem to have a mind of their own. Your sense of reality blurs as hours pass. You finally stop. You're standing in a motorway service station car park, staring at a Greg's like it's the face of God. Your phone is dead. Your shoes are ruined, and you begin to suspect you've accidentally resigned by implication. Um, Days later, you return, sunburnt, blistered, and holding a leaflet about mindfulness you found in a little chef. No one mentions your absence, and you realize that no one noticed you were even gone. Oof. Hey, I mean, that's probably the best outcome that I could have gotten. Sprint 30. Okay, we're still going. Um, I feel like if I feel like I have to end it. The bloodletting. The client has announced they are undergoing strategic alignment, and you now no longer remember what the original project looked like. You're randomly carving scrapes like a butcher pulling pork. The client keeps saying, "We just need the same impact with less." Like, that's a reasonable sentence. The designers are merging features that were never meant to coexist. The developers are speaking in tongues. You start referring to the remaining scope as the survivor. You whisper to the budget spreadsheet, begging it to multiply. You know the budget isn't enough, but what can you do? Die? Try and haggle? Sell your belongings? Sell a kidney? I mean, the only thing is to try and haggle. Um, War crimes. You call the client repeatedly, attempting every persuasion trick in your arsenal. Reason, flattery, mild threats, and even poetry about the project's beauty and potential. You pace your office like a general negotiating peace in in a war of numbers. The client listens, occasionally sighing, and eventually agrees to a small reprieve, but far less than you hoped. You feel simultaneously victorious and humiliated. Having poured an entire performance into a negotiation that barely budged the scales, the team watches you collapse into a chair, exhausted, muttering about profit, margins, and fate. I'm going to make it stop because I've committed war crimes. Are you sure? Something inside you finally snaps. You know you can't do this anymore, but as you write your resignation, the relief you expected twists into a tugging in your chest. With a slow, slinking dread, you realize the project will never be done with you. Do you really have the strength to leave it? I think I quit. Okay. The nightmare ends. I lasted 30 sprints, shattered by ambition. You give it everything, every ounce of focus, every drop of energy you had until there was simply nothing left to give. The project blurred into a living nightmare as your mind twists simmer bells, warping your good intentions into a destructive decisions until somewhere in your exhausted delirium, the scope creep consumed you. The candles. An exhausted soul is easy to break. You burnt bright until you burnt out. So this is by Wonder Make. Oop. Which they are a creative studio that does, so this is very close to home for them. I think that this is so incredibly funny. Um, That's very cool. But yeah, scope creep. Check it out. It was very interesting, and I kind of my style of game, um, which I think is I don't know, is a thing. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm Grace, and this was Scope Creep, the Scope Creep, and have a good one. Bye.